Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. And today I want to talk about how I actually got into playing the oboe. Because oboe isn't really a common instrument like flute or clarinet. So yeah, we're doing that today. And before I start, I want you to please subscribe down below and hit the bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. And if you like this, please leave a like and comment what you liked about this video and what you didn't. And if you have any video suggestions for me to do, like any arrangements, covers, anything that relates to this channel, please comment them down below. And all my social medias will be down in the description below. So let's get to it. Now, some people start playing their instrument when they're like 3 or 4, very little, when it's easier for kids to learn an instrument because little kids can grasp things more quickly and understand things more quickly like that. I, however, did not. I started, like mostly everybody else, in 5th grade when we had to pick an instrument for band. I actually wanted to start it on flute. Yes, I wanted to be a flautist, however you say that. Anyway, my family had this ridiculous notion. I don't know how they came up with this, but they thought that only girls could play flute, and if I started playing flute and played flute for a couple years, I would eventually lose my hearing because it's out to the side. Now, I can understand why my family was about the gender thing. They didn't want me to get made fun of or anything. I can somewhat understand that, but it still makes no sense. And about the hearing, it is a soprano instrument, which means it's a really high-pitched instrument. But one, the sound goes through the mouthpiece. When I say mouthpiece, I mean the head joint. And this is where you create the sound, it vibrates and all that fun stuff. Now the air actually goes through half of the lip hole. Half of it goes directly into the tube and half of it just goes out. So, because to make a sound, you want to aim for this part of the hole, like the edge on the opposite side. Here's a quick little tip, and if you're just starting out, do that first. It's a really great way to start out before you actually put the whole thing together. Okay, I'm getting off track. So since the sound comes out of this and not here, you can't really be deaf with just a normal flute. However, it is possible with piccolo because it's a lot smaller and it's closer to your right ear. So that is a possibility. Now, back to the gender thing. I have encountered some people that actually believe that instruments should be played by certain genders. Like, flute should be played by girls. And percussion, which is like the drums, the xylophones, all that, should be played by only boys. That is not true. Just saying. If anyone tells you that you can't play an instrument based on your gender, ignore them, please. So yeah. I wanted to play the flute first. But how I got to oboe is that I wanted to play an instrument that had the closest amount of fingerings to flute, so I wouldn't have a hard time transitioning to flute, because I had a plan that someday I will figure out a way to switch. So since I couldn't play flute, I decided to pick an instrument that has the closest amount of fingerings as the flute. And what I mean by that is what instrument are basically the same fingerings as the flute. And for that, I found oboe. It wasn't exact, but it was pretty darn close. So that's how I started on the oboe. And this video is not over yet, so don't click away. I played oboe from 5th grade all the way up to 7th grade. I enjoyed it, but I was really still set on flute. So somehow I convinced my mom, after years and years of nagging at her, she finally allowed me to try the flute. Now, what we did is we went to my local music shop and we got me a student model flute. This one right here. I'm trying not to knock it onto the floor. This is a good beginner flute with all the things you need just to be starting out. And it is an Armstrong brand. So yeah, here's my beginning flute, or student flute. And this is actually the flute that I used for marching band all throughout high school. So there. Put that away. So yeah, the deal was that I can try it out, and if I like it, I can switch. And if I'm good at it, I can switch. But if I don't like it, or I'm not as good as I should be for band, I have to go back to oboe. So we set up private lessons with someone who taught in that music store, and it was like a light switch. I started playing like I've been playing since 5th grade, honestly. Like, I can blow into it, I can play different notes and stuff, and that convinced my mom enough for me to go to flute. So I switched to flute. I'm really happy, I really enjoyed it. And then around my 10th grade year, I started to really miss the oboe. I wasn't the only oboe player. Well, not exactly player anymore, just I wasn't the only one who knew how to play oboe somewhat in high school. There were 2 oboe players in the higher band. They were both in the same grade, and they were like 2 years older, grade-wise, older than me. So they'll be gone, and there wasn't any other oboe players, as I've gathered from 9th graders and my oboe teacher, who actually taught the elementary band. So I talked to my mom about getting an oboe from the same music store I got my flute, and to like relearn the oboe and stuff. But my mom was hesitant at first because I was really focusing on flute, because then I was going to go to music school for flute performance, and I was working on auditions like crazy. So yeah. But the next year I convinced her, and I convinced my band directors to allow me to play both instruments. Yes, I played flute and oboe at the same time. Well, not really, but in the same band. I played one piece on oboe and two on flute. And I grew to like the oboe more and more. I got better and better at it, and I decided to go to have my major instrument be oboe instead of flute. I will not be going for oboe performance. I will be going for music education. So that is what my major is. I will be going to an undergrad program. So, because I want to teach little kids music, the basics, what's a treble clef, what's a quarter note, all that general music stuff, and I plan on giving private lessons on flute and oboe, but not right now. I don't have any training whatsoever. All I know is from middle school to elementary school to high school. So right now, do not ask for lessons because I will not be providing any for any of you. So there you have it. That is how I got into oboe. If you really like this video, please leave a like and comment down below anything, what you liked, what you didn't like what I said at the beginning of this video. So yeah, and I'll see you later.